The living entity which wants sense gratification is desiring sense gratification. Then the Lord note this you have to understand this shloka. The Lord understanding the desires of the living entity to gratify the senses activates prana shakti. Pran shakti activates the mind, and the mind activates the senses. So you see, the living entity does not do anything anyhow. But since it has desired sense gratification, it becomes responsible for the actions. Is very clear? Now this will help you to understand the previous shloka very easily. So now if the living entity gives up the desire for sense gratification, so then he's although within the body but aloof from the functioning of the body. And if he desires to serve Krishna, because he cannot desire nothing, and he is not bound. I want to take prasadam. That is not material desire. I want to chant Hare Krishna. That is not material desires. I want to discuss Bhagavad Gita. That is not material desire. So still it is being actuated or how to actuated समझते हैं आप? Activated or made into fruition, brought to fruition by the Lord only. But because it's not based on material desires, I don't become entangled. That is a very easy way to understand. Although doing things, he won't be entangled. So now a person may question. So we are seeing that people are doing sins and piety. So that means it's all been done by the Supreme Lord only, na? You said their soul is not doing anything, and modes of material nature are inactive, is it not? So then who's तीसरा कौन बचा culprit? Third culprit is Krishna only, Paramatma. But the Lord says no. He is not responsible for the sins and the piety of the living entity, and how and why we'll understand in this shloka. Nadatte kasyachit papam
Nadatte kasyachit papam
na chaiva sukritam vibhu
na chaiva sukritam vibhu
ajnanenavritam jnanam
ajnanenavritam jnanam
tena mohyanti jantavah.
tena muhyanti jantavah.
Do you like the recitation of the shlokas? Somehow I've become to relish the chanting itself. Let us chant further. Nadatte kasyachit papam
Nadatte kasyachit papam
na chaiva sukritam vibhu
na chaiva sukritam vibhu
ajnanenavritam jnanam
ajnanenavritam jnanam
tena mohyanti jantavah.
tena muhyanti jantavah.
Nadatte kasyachit papam na chaiva sukritam vibhu
Nadatte kasyachit papam na chaiva sukritam vibhu
ajnanenavritam jnanam tena mohyanti jantavah.
ajnanenavritam jnanam tena muhyanti jantavah.
Nadatte kasyachit papam na chaiva sukritam vibhu ajnanenavritam jnanam tena mohyanti jantavah.
Nadatte kasyachit papam naiva chaiva sukritam vibhu ajnanenavritam jnanam tena muhyanti jantavah.
Nadatte jnanam tena mohyanti jantavah.
Nadatte kasyachit papam na chaiva sukritam vibhu ajnanenavritam jnanam tena muhyanti jantavah.
Nadatte kasyachit papam na chaiva sukritam vibhu ajnanenavritam jnanam tena mohyanti jantavah.
Nadatte kasyachit papam na chaiva sukritam vibhu ajnanenavritam jnanam tena muhyanti jantavah.
So let's move forward. Let us first read the translation. Nor does the Supreme Lord assume anyone's sinful or pious activities. Embodied beings, however, are bewildered because of the ignorance which covers their real knowledge. Vibhu, in the previous shloka it was Prabhu. Prabhu has a import we forgot to mention, means controller of his nature. And that has a link from the previous shloka, Sukham Vashi. So Prabhu means who controls his lower nature of sense gratification. That soul does not do anything even while in the body. He is simply an observer. So now it is Vibhu. Now Vibhu means the Supreme Lord. Vibhu kasyachit, anyone's. Papam na adatte. Datte means give. Adatte means accept. The Lord does not accept anyone's sin. Vibhu kasachit papam na adatte. Is it Vibhu means the Lord, kasachit means anyone's, papam means sin, and na adatte means accepts. He does not accept anyone's sins. He is not responsible. Na chaiva sukritam, nor does he accept the piety. All this is done by whom? Ajnanena jnanam avritam. Ajnanena, by ignorance. Jnanam, knowledge. Avritam means covered. Knowledge is covered by ignorance. Means knowledge of one's own swarupa, which gets covered by ignorance, means ignorance of one's relationship with the Lord. So what does it happens? Because we are covered, so we don't even know what we are doing. That is the whole point. That's a very interesting point, because we can just close the door, so much sound is coming. So normally we think a person is sinful, or the person is behaving in a very obnoxious way. But what is actually inspiring him to do that thing? It is his swabhav, conditioned nature, which originally is emanating because of his ignorance of his relationship with the Lord. आप कुछ समझ रहे हैं? It helps us to deal with people who are interested in Krishna consciousness without deflecting our mind towards the negativity which is pursued by us. किसी का स्वभाव, person स्वभाव may be very angry and other lusty and other things, but we understand that is the external nature of the soul. If he is ready to accept Krishna consciousness, we can extend our hand and help him to become Krishna conscious. Main thing is whether he wants to become Krishna conscious. Because he does not even know what he is doing, even sin or piety. तो पता ही नहीं क्या कर रहा है. It's like in a dreaming state. Tena means by that ignorance, jantavaha muhayanti. Jantu is referred to the living entity which is here in this world. Normally we say Jeev Jantu. The Jeev Jantu refers to animal, but it's not animal. It refers to any living entity which is having a body. And thereby beings are bewildered. Bewilder word is very good. Muhayanti, you don't know what to do. And then obviously we choose the wrong option. In a sense, normally for a conditioned soul, serving Krishna is not the option itself. Only option is serve Maya, yes or no, and serve Maya, yes or no. There is no also, only yes. This, I think, I don't know if some devotees are experiencing it, but that's, if you see the world around you, all these insects and everybody, they're kind of helpless, is it not? Bewildered by Maya, bewildered by a sense of bodily consumption, which also permeates in the human life. They have no other option but to serve their senses. So we are most special people. We means anyone who has accepted Bhagavad Gita. So this is easily understood. Na datte kastachit papam, the living na chaiva sukritam vibhu. The Supreme Lord does not accept anyone's sin and piety. It is all done because of the conditioned nature of the living entity. Since beginningless time, it has desires for sense enjoyment, forgetting his swarupa. Tena mohyante jantava. So the Lord is not responsible. Gita Bhushan commentary. But if you say that the pure Jiva is not the doer, then you must conclude that the Paramatma, out of some impulse of amusement, forcing Pradhan down the Jiva's throat, created him with body and senses which are transformations of Pradhan. This is justified, the Shruti confirms. Eshahu eva sadhu karma karayati tam yam ebhyo lokebhya unni nishate. Eshahu eva sadhu karma karayati tam yam adho ninishate. The Lord engages in pious activities, the living entity whom he desires to elevate from these worlds. The Lord engages in impious activities, the person whom he desires to degrade. Kaustuki Upanishad. What is the meaning here? You see, from this Upanishadic statement, which is correct, it appears that people who are engaged in impious activities by the Lord are helpless to engage in impious activity. उनको बाध्य कर रहे हैं पाप करने के लिए. Just hold on for a minute. Is there a rubber band here? By chance? Anyways, they can hear. Now you can hear me clearly? ठीक है. Echo. It should not echo. Is it still echoing? क्या रबर बैंड? आज बहुत सारी बाधाएं आ रही हैं. क्या बात है? लगता है हमसे कोई अपराध हो गया. Hare Krishna. Can you now hear me clearly? ठीक. Good. So it may appear that the Lord is partial by engaging some people in piety and some people in impiety. So then the answer, and then this further things are mentioned here. The Smriti also criticizes the Lord. Smriti means Puranic statements. It is from Mahabharata. Shruti is Upanishad and Vedas. Agyo jantur anisho yam atmanaha shuka dukkhayo ishvara prerito gachet swargam narkam evacha. The ignorant living entity is completely powerless in regards to attaining his distress and happiness. Impelled by the Supreme Lord, he will go to heaven or hell. Mahabharata 3.31.273. Have you not heard in India? भगवान ही तो पाप करा रहे हैं, भगवान ही तो पुण्य करा रहे हैं. The Lord himself is causing a person to do sin or piety. So this kind of accusation, so this will make the Lord partial. Why should he inspire somebody to do piety? Why should he inspire some people to do impiety? And sometimes if you ask people to chant Hare Krishna, they said, when the Lord will make me chant Hare Krishna, जब उनकी कृपा होगी, then we will chant Hare Krishna. As if the Lord is stopping them from chanting Hare Krishna. So, therefore, the Lord leads the jiva into states of sin and piety. In being the instigator, that means the inspirer, the Lord must therefore have the quality of injustice and must be blamed for the sins of the jiva. So this is the whole link of the or the introduction of the sloka. That means in doing piety and impiety, Lord is responsible. The jiva is not doing anything. You just told jiva is not doing anything. So Lord must be responsible. Who is inspiring all these impressions and all the things? The Lord is doing. This verse answers that accusation. Are you able to follow? Some people quoting this Shruti and Smriti, they may say the Lord is partial. He engages some people in piety, some people in sin. The Supreme Lord or Vibhu is full of immeasurable bliss and knowledge and full of unlimited energies, enjoying his own bliss while being indifferent to all else. So why this is being mentioned? Lord does not have to gain anything by engaging the living entity in sin or piety. There are some people who take pleasure in giving pain to others. It's like we heard of Brigari. I don't know the word for it, but there is some word for such people who feel very happy by giving pain to others. Cruel, you can say. There's some Adata is in Sanskrit. We are having English class. Anyhow, you understand. There are some people who give. Yes, you said the word. I know the word also, but I don't want to use that word. It's a very heavy word, but the word is sadist. That means these people they give pain to others and they enjoy it. So is out of just a child's play, the Lord is playing around with the lives of the living entities? It is not like that. Some living entities you want to become and make them into a demon and then force them into hell and enjoy like that. It's not like that. Lord's happiness is coming from his own Sarupa. So he's simply facilitating the perverted desires of the living entity. That you must understand. He does not want us to rot in the material world. We want to rot. That's why he, as a loving father, he says, okay. We don't have kids, but those who have children, they know how helpless they can become in front of the children because of their love. If the child wants to do certain things, especially let's say above 18, as per the government rules, then Basically, he can do whatever he wants to do, and the parents can't do anything. But apart from the law thing, it is their love which forces them to accept what the child wants to do, even if the child is doing something harmful to him. Here in this situation, there can be some example of parents are very strict and like that, they can hold on to their children for some time. Ultimately, they love the child, is it not? So what they will do? Okay, if you really want to do this thing, what you can do? You go ahead. But my dear child, I'm always there for you. In case you feel you want to return to me, I'm always open to you. I think that clearly clarifies what the Lord's mood is. Lord loves all of us and is all powerful, but by power you can't make a person love you.
Yes.
So he said, okay, you want to enjoy in the material world, go have it, go ahead. So he is indifferent to anything else. That means I want to enjoy, I want to suffer. The Lord is not getting affected by it. So the Lord doesn't get any enjoyment by our suffering. वो हमको दुख देखकर सुखी नहीं है. He is not affected by that. He simply engages the jiva in activity according to the jiva's impressions. The jiva desiring to enjoy, bound up by beginningless impressions in the pradhan, takes a body made of a transformation of pradhan by proximity to the Lord alone, not by direct contact. Example I gave was not by direct contact. Just now during the class I gave the example, I said I will quote it again. The example of proximity. Anyhow, so Lord is always there in the heart of the living entity. When the time of creation comes, the Lord knows since beginningless time what are the impressions which are lodged in the subtle body of the living entity. Are these terms clear to you? And simply depending on his previous actions, simply depending on his desires which are lodged so the impressions are there in the subtle body, he further arranges that he gets a gross body. Now, what kind of processing the Lord has to do is unimaginable. Unlimited jivas with unlimited actions and reactions. It is quite frightening if you see from one perspective, is it not? One living entity, how much he has desires, what kind of karma has done since beginningless time. And then now you expand it, innumerable living entities. And sabki processing karni. That's why to become Lord, or to be Lord, not become. To be Lord is not an ordinary thing. When the Pradhan is unmanifested material energy, what does this mean in Gita Bhushan commentary? Forcing Pradhan down the throat. Is Pradhan having anything in facilitation of the desires? We have discussed that. Pradhan is a space where the living entity's desires are lodged. Now it is not clearly mentioned what does it mean, but that's how it is explained here. So now, having said this, that the impressions which are lodged in the subtle bodies of the living entities which do not get destroyed, so they are revived. जो इच्छाएं सूक्ष्म शरीर में हैं वो उसका रिवाइवल कर दिया जाता है. They become revived by the Lord's arrangement, and Lord is remain only in proximity. What does it mean? He is not absolutely identifying with the desires and impressions of the living entity. Proximity, you understand? Observer. I'm observing you. I'm not getting influenced by what you want to do or what your desires are. But without Lord's arrangement, you must remember, Pradhan is dead matter. It cannot actuate in itself. So the Lord has to see those things. What was his karma, what was his desires, and then he facilitates by giving various bodies. Okay? So then, proximity you can also understand. We have heard in Bhagavatam two words, Niyamak Sambandh and Sanidh and Niyamak. Sannidhi and Niyamak. Niyamak means he is controlled, and Sannidhi means very close by.
Absorb.
Not absorb, very close. I am seeing that you have a laptop. I am very from a close distance. Close means like nearby, but still I cannot control with what you are doing here. Again, we have given the example of a magnet and iron filings. The magnet is near and it exerts its influence on the iron filings, but it is not touching the iron filings.
Yes.
Something of that effect. Therefore, the Lord does not receive any sinful or pious reaction for any jiva's action. You understand the example of judge. Now this should be very clear. The judge is very much aware what every criminal has done. Is it not? But he is at a distance from criminals' activity. Some criminals are getting absolved or whatever. Some people, not criminals, but some people, they say, okay, you give him some money. And some people are saying, okay, you send him to jail. So in both situations, can the punishment be administered without the intervention of the judge? Answer is very simple, no. But does the judge become involved in any of those implications? No. So I think now it should be very clear. नहीं समझ में आया अभी? I don't have more examples to give. The Vishnu Purana says that word sannidhi. Yatha sannidhi matrena gandha shobhaya jayate manaso nopakartrutvat tathasu parameshwarah sannidhanat yathakasha kaladayah karanam taroho tatheva parinamena vishwasya bhagwan harihi. Smell affects the mind by proximity with the mind without thoughts of being a benefactor. When you smell something, it changes the mind, but the smell does not think that I am a benefactor, I am favoring the mind. Is the idea. In the same way, the Supreme Lord also acts in relation to the living entities without thoughts of disturbing them. The Lord is not identifying with the happiness and distress of the living entity, although he facilitates the happiness and distress of the living entity. Is this point getting across? No. Judge is neutral to the happiness and distress of the criminal. So as Paramatma, the Lord is neutral. Just as by proximity, ether and time are causes of a tree without their undergoing transformation, so Bhagwan is the cause of the universe without his undergoing contact or transformation. Vishnu Puran 1.2.30-1. Now understand this. Does the tree exist in space? Yes. Does the tree exist in time? Yes. So now, nahi samajh mein aa raha hai? The tree is in the form of a seed. The seed is in space or not? Everything is in space only. You are in space, I am in space, everybody is in space. So within the space, we are getting transformed. From the seed, it became a tree. But one more factor is there. Time. Does time changes?
Time does not change.
Time never changes. Does space changes? No. Neither the space changes, neither the time changes. What changes is the tree. And both are influencing it. Without a space, where the tree? But they themselves don't change. They are neutral. Ultimate philosophy of Bhagavad Gita. I think 50% of prasadam will get digested by the intelligence you have to use in Bhagavad Gita. Again, everybody will become hungry. Right? Not a moment to think anything else if you really want to understand this. बहुत processing करनी पड़ती है ना. इसी में तो आनंद है. It is for intelligent people. Let's see who are the intelligent people available here. Not many. Most intelligent ones are here because they want to understand Bhagavad Gita. It's a fact. Because we want to learn how to get out of this world. This is real intelligence. But you must remember, as soon as you begin to perform bhakti, the Lord immediately is very, very attentive to your needs. He is not at all inattentive to a sadhaka. Never ever. Samoham sarvabhuteshu name dveshasti na preya. We are understanding this. Ye tu bhajanti mam bhaktya mai titeshu chapeham. Our endeavor to turn away from him meets with neutrality by the Lord. Jo karna hai karo. But as soon as we want to be obedient to the Lord and serve him, we cannot imagine how much help we get from them. And you will see how in your life how you get. The example of fragrance is given to illustrate the neutral position of the Lord. But this does not mean that the Lord does not have desire in creating, for the Shruti also says Sakamayata. Very interesting. The smell, see, the example has a limitation. The smell is a dead matter. So smell is neutral to the transformation of the mind. So in that sense, the Lord is neutral to the transformations which are experienced by the jiva. Jiva doesn't get transformed, but all this happiness, distress is neutral. But you cannot say the Lord does not desire, because the creation happens by the desire of the Lord. Why? To facilitate enjoyment of the living entity, and to also facilitate his liberation in case the living entity wants to serve the Supreme Lord. The Lord desired. Brihad Aranyaka Upanishad. But then why do the jivas accuse the Lord of injustice? मेरे संग बुरा हो रहा है. I'm getting punished. मैंने क्या किया था? What did I do that I have to suffer such a heavy misery? This is explained in the next line of the verse. The knowledge of the jiva, though eternal, disappears from view due to the jiva's hostility to the Lord without beginning. Ajnanena. Because of this, the jivas or jantu are bewildered. So, I think this must have been understood, but I'll repeat so that devotees can understand. Since beginningless time, the living entity has turned its face away from Krishna, basically saying, I have nothing to do with you. I don't want to serve you. इसे कहते हैं बहिर्मुक्ता. What we consider as normal in this material world is a great disease. We don't want to serve Krishna is a disease. It's not a normal condition. Normally we should be mad for serving Krishna. But not being mad for service to Krishna is the disease condition. Not realizing what happiness is there in serving Krishna as per our relationship with Him. Makes sense to you? So then that is being mentioned here, that because of being bewildered by it, because of not knowing who we are, identifying with the body, we continue to do activities for sense gratification. यही बात बार-बार वही बात बोल रहा हूँ, same point. So the Lord is not responsible for things. We have again to repeat the same example. Seeds are there in the ground. Without water, the seeds won't fructify. But what plant comes out, the rain is not responsible for that. So the Lord is not unjust. The author of the Vedanta Sutra confirmed this. Hold on. Same example. Is the rain responsible for mango fruit which is coming, or the neem fruit which is coming?
Yes.
Prabhu is saying yes. I did not ask a simple question. Is the rain responsible for the fruit which is coming out from this? Yes. What kind of fruit is coming out? The rain is not responsible, because it is the main thing was a seed, whether a mango fruit or a neem fruit. Acha chalo ye to. There are mango trees also, and there are neem trees growing along the bank of Mother Ganga. Mother Ganga is pure, is it not? So now, is she responsible for mango tree? Yes. Is she responsible for neem tree? Yes. In a sense that without the water, they cannot sustain. But she is not responsible which seed will grow. I think now it should be very clear. So the living entity being bewildered by its own ignorance is responsible of its own ignorance. The Lord was only facilitating. That's why Lord is so humble. He could have told us since beginningless time that you are doing a mistake. He has not spoken yet, is it not? You must remember, the Lord will not speak also unless we do something for Him. Itne namr hai, Krishna is so humble, He has continued with their ignorance, He will not speak a word. But somehow that if you do unknowingly something for Him, chanting Hare Krishna or taking prasadam, something, or please the devotees, serve the devotees, something, then the Lord will inspire in a way that you go and further to devotional service. None of the devotees hearing the class, or the person, the humble servant who is giving the class, we are not ordinary people. And have to glorify Krishna, we are not glorifying. The natural faith that Krishna is God, Bhagavad Gita is correct, is after billions of lifetimes of accumulated piety. समझ रहे हैं? Now cash in on it. Don't waste time if you are really intelligent. If lesser intelligent, then you can waste some time. But if you are really intelligent, you won't waste time. Beautiful point which is given from today's class, quoted in Srila Prabhupada. If you deposit 1 cent per day, after 100 days, you'll have $1 or something like that. And then one day you'll have $100 by which you can purchase something valuable. Similarly, if you continue with the process of bhakti, we will become one day a very nice devotee. You must remember, krame krame sai bhakta hoi be uttam. We have not reached here in whatever stage of perfection we are. We also have a stage of perfection even right now. It is not without a very heavy payment. We don't understand that. We are not here by accident under the shelter of Srila Prabhupada. So now, and connected to a proper parampara which will lift us out of this well of material existence. ये समझ नहीं आता भक्तों को. Some devotees still want to waste their time in certain things, which I also have respect for. People have choices, but if a person can understand, then he will focus his mind eknishtha bhas paramayat paramatmaik nishtha yukta, will engage in Krishna's service and gain as many points in this life as much as possible. Even if we don't go back to Godhead, as closer to Krishna in this life. The author of the Vedanta Sutra confirms this. Vaishamya nirgrinne na sapekshatvat tathahi darshayati. The Lord has no partiality or cruelty, because the pleasure and pain suffered by the living beings is caused by their karma. So the scriptures declare. So this is very clear. They are responsible for their own ignorance. The ignorance is causing them to do bad and good things. Lord is only facilitating. He is not responsible. Na karma vibhagat iti chen nana ditvat. Someone may argue as follows. You cannot say that the Lord is just because he gives different karmas to each jiva at the beginning. But that is not so, because karma is without a beginning. You understand this point? You see, when the creation happened, so person will say, but Lord is unjust because he gave Ayush Prabhu, he made Ayush Prabhu Brahmaji, and Rahul Prabhu only got Indra's position, and Anish became Yamraj, and I became a human being to be troubled by all three demigods. But I was joking. For example, let's say 4 of us are there, and what is your name? Vipen Prabhu, he became Mohini Murthy. No, Mohini Murthy's assistant or something. Just joking. Something, whatever. Urvashi or something. Who knows what they were made? Everybody is made differently. We are not actually women or men or something. So now say, kis adhar pe diya? Beginning mein to diya na. In the beginning of creation, he did na. What basis was there? Before the creation, nothing was there na. So definitely he was very partial. But then his answer, no. The desires and impressions of the living entity is beginningless. Now what is beginningless? You can't understand. Because our right now consciousness is constricted by time, so we can't understand what is beginningless. But that has to be understood on the authority of Bhagavad Gita. Vidyanadi prakritim purusham chaiva vidyanadi ubhavasu. Vidyanadi ubhavasu. Forgetting the shloka. You must remember, O Arjuna, you must understand, O Arjuna, that both material nature and the living entity are beginningless. Prakritim purusham chaiva vidyanadi ubhavaso. This is how in 13th chapter. The Sanskrit word Vibhu means the Supreme Lord who is full of unlimited knowledge, riches, strength, fame, beauty and renunciation. What does it mean? It means he is not in need of anything, that he will give trouble to the living entity by engaging them in pious or sinful activities. By living entities' piety, the Lord is not getting affected. Acha, one more example you can see of sun. Sun is full in itself or not in terms of light and majesty. So what sun has to do with what is growing in the earth? Do they give anything to sun? Does sun have any expectancy from the things which are growing on earth? What is the answer? No. But without sun, anything can grow here? No. I think now it is very clear. Very clear. Krishna Suryasam. Sun is all effulgent, fully independent, not dependent on the earth at all. But earth and other planets are dependent on the supreme, on the potency of the sun. So clear. He is always satisfied in himself, undisturbed by sinful or pious activities. He does not create a particular situation for any living entity, But the living entity bewildered by ignorance desires to be put into certain conditions of life, and thereby his chain of action and reaction begins. Hear this. Suppose I want to swim very fast, and in this life I practice to swim very fast. Who is responsible? Me. So the Lord says, okay, as a human being, you did not deserve a human life. So you want to be Olympic swimmer, you become a dolphin. Dolphins swim very fast. तो इसके लिए भगवान का दोष है? No, he wanted to swim very fast. Not out of the ocean of material existence, only water ocean. So they come to Pacific Ocean. So you can cross Pacific Ocean. Oh, I want to fly nicely. Okay, you become a bird. Have you ever thought why there are 8.4 million species of life? Because that's kind of desires living entities have. Simple. Can you imagine a living entity desiring to become an octopus? Octopus. What kind of base desire a person must have to become an octopus? Is it not? So like
the desire gives qualities to
yes, that is as per the desires, as per their karma, the Lord gives them the body. Octopus or octopus? That's too much, huh? But we are laughing. We have also been octopus in one lifetime. We never remember that. Octopus, whale, timingal, who knows what. Just imagine yourself being an octopus. That's too much, is it not?
I remember in my class, my teacher used to say,
I can't hear, nobody can hear you now because no, you can't be heard even on mic because we have changed the system. No, we can't hear you. Now you have to only speak at the end of the class. I'll give you facility. And I changed the recording system. We'll give you, keep your comments at that. Or you can speak by joining the Zoom session. Then you can speak. You need to have an earphone. It's just too complicated. Speak later on. Okay. Nevertheless, he is prone to be influenced by ignorance due to his limited power. Limited power means if you realize your Sarupa, then why will you degrade into these things? Because we have the capacity to desire free will, but because we don't know who we are, we choose our free will wrong. We utilize our free will wrongly. On this, my spiritual master told a very nice point. Maya can exploit our free will, but she can never take it away. This is a beautiful point. Beautiful point for any devotee who is practicing Krishna consciousness, that Maya can bewilder or exploit our free will, make us fall down into sense gratification, but any moment, no matter how much deep we are into sense gratification, with any moment we can turn towards Krishna. She can't stop that. This is one point, and our free will is only in present. So now I wanted to give an example. By my desire, I buy a ticket in an airplane. Fine. So by that desire and decision, I land up in a particular flight. Now you can't change the flight when you're in the airplane. Similarly, we are in a particular body, we can't change. Now within the airplane, give this very nice example. I may try to hijack the flight, do some nice things, or I can make a deal with a businessman, which when the flight will land me into a nice situation. Or if I try to hijack the plane, I will be given punishment. So while I'm in the airplane, I cannot change anything. Like some of the devotees are in female bodies, some of them are in male bodies. So that you cannot change. But now in the body which we are, if we make proper choices based on our knowledge and association, remember this, knowledge and association will help us to use our free will. It's not that simply by knowledge you can make a proper choice. We have heard this before also, that even a person who is having knowledge will behave as per his swabhav. He will not behave as per Shastra. So we need association of devotees who are living that knowledge. All the devotees are experiencing how chanting together makes it so easy to chant. Is it not? Although we know by chanting 16 rounds and this and that and offenseless chanting, and we can give a seminar and all that, but it becomes difficult to chant alone, day after day, every day. So this is very important, that you cannot say that we have no power to extricate ourselves from this bondage. With knowledge and with proper association and proper use of free will by serving Krishna, we can become liberated. Reflect upon it throughout the day. Do you feel like talking? And then reflect. Whatever we talk, does it have a connection with Krishna? and then reflect who is prompting me to talk. Yesterday I was reflecting very strongly. Can you get what I'm trying to speak?
Yes.
Just be conscious, somebody is impelling me to talk. कुछ कुछ है जो मुझे बोलने के लिए प्रेरित कर रहा है, which is our nature or something. But then you question, will this please Krishna? I had a strong, heavy management meeting. After that, I was very much inclined to discuss the subject matter with all the purports, translation and commentaries with my superior. And then I just cut it off. I said, I have to do Bhagavatam class. Why I should be impelled for this? Is the case is solved now. Why should I now involved in those things? How strong hota hai? I'm trying to minimize my management propensities as much as possible. There's many things we have to talk is nothing to do with Krishna. Just throughout the day, you just see what are the things which are you able to relate what I'm trying to say, my dear Zoom devotees. You want to talk, but think about yourself. Is it connected to Krishna? And why I'm saying this? You please read Updeshamrit chapter number 1. And there it is mentioned, if we talk about mundane split matters, this victimizes us with a bodily conception. I'm just paraphrasing it. It's a beautiful purport by Srila Prabhupada. I have so many desires to do so many things. Updeshamrit is really nice, but really nice. So every time I talk about a mundane subject matter, it just increases my bodily conception. I am the body, he's the body, he's my enemy, I must criticize and this and that. Endless. Anyhow, I'm just saying we can learn to use our free will with proper association and knowledge. That much we can do, and we cannot do what is coming upon us or what we have done. Uska kuch nahi kar sakte. And anyhow, you kar bhi sakte in a sense that when you chant Hare Krishna, all the things are changed. That's a fact also. But I'm just saying, whatever is going to come upon us will come. But we should learn to use our free will in that particular situation. The Lord is omnipotent, but the living entity is not. The Lord is Vibhu or omniscient, but the living entity is Anu or atomic. Because he is a living soul, he has the capacity to desire by his free will. I was just now telling you this point. Such desire is fulfilled only by the omnipotent Lord. Again, let us revise this. The living entity desires, the Lord activates the pran, then mind activates and senses activate. So when your senses are engaged, you cannot say the mind is not engaged, because the mind has to be engaged if the senses are engaged. Make sense? Such desire is fulfilled only by the omnipotent Lord. And so, when the living entity is bewildered in his desires, the Lord allows him to fulfill those desires, but the Lord is never responsible for the action and reactions of the particular situation which may be desired. Is it very clear? So, you may say, why the Lord is not giving intelligence? Because the living entity has not done anything for the Lord. You please remember, Prabhu, this will inspire you so much. You, when you chant Hare Krishna, all of us when we chant Hare Krishna, we are doing something which is most pleasing to the Lord. No matter how it feels to you, you please remain convinced. Kritartha hoila ami sunaila hari naam. Mahaprabhu's words, so Krishna himself, that I have filled my life has been successful because you have made me hear the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So by begging, by in any way, you somehow or other engage a person in chanting Hare Krishna. 1 round, 2 round, 11 Mahamantras, because once he starts doing that yajna, the Lord will become very active. Right now, Lord is neutral. As you begin chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna will start giving you knowledge. I think all of the devotees must be feeling that they are now much more thoughtful than like a Dumbo they were earlier, is it not? I have to go to IIT and from there I'll get a job and maybe get 2 or 3 wives and then suffer whole life. Is it not? People are Dumbos like this. What you can say? Dumbo samajh rahe na? No, animalistic. And I think devotees must be having trouble with this thoughtfulness. Kuch zyada hi thoughtful hai. Everything you do, you make a calculation. Is this as per dharma or not as per dharma? Is it not? It is good. Everything you do, you must be thinking, this is dharma or not dharma, this is good or not good. We were not thinking like that earlier. So who is giving that? Krishna is giving, because you're doing your gift. And sometimes you must be surprised also why people don't think about what they're doing right now. It is common sense. Krishna does not inspire such intelligence. I am again repeat, if you chant Hare Krishna in the morning very nicely, all throughout the day, Krishna will inspire you. Don't do this is wrong. Do this, it's very good. You can see all throughout the day, he's like an alarm, it's like a spun. Don't do this, it's not good. Do this, very good. So I'm just saying that you use our proper desires by association. Being in a bewildered condition, therefore, the embodied soul identifies himself with the circumstantial material body and becomes subjected to the temporary misery and happiness of life. Please give me some time today. It's a little, just only 2 hours more, not much. You have the gaddas here, you can sleep. So, a woman must get married, Prabhupada told. Then Prabhupada also says, every man must get married. These are proper statements, but these are not the only statements. Then Prabhupada says, also they have statements. In Grihastha life, I don't want to say that, but obviously I will say, spiritual advancement is practically nil. Where does Prabhupada say? Show me the quotation. Show me the reference. I don't believe. He says so many things, is it not? So it is being said, when he said a woman must get married, because it is her, in the living entity is too much identifying with this woman body. Then he has to act in that way. So that's why Shastra says woman must get married. Every man must get married. Because that living entity will identify, right now identifying too much with the man's body. Kuch nahi samajh rahe hain. But it is not the ultimate instruction for the soul proper. Ultimate instruction is that Shrotavya Kititavyascha Dheya Pujas Sanitata. Whichever ashram you are, you must remember Krishna by hearing, chanting, and all that. It's called Tatkalik Updesh and Sarvakalik Updesh. Tatkalik means for time being, that because the living entity for time being is identifying with the woman's body, so she must get married and have kids and whatever. But that is not going to bring out liberation. But if you hear and chant and smell, remember Krishna, that is for all time to come. That will be eternal benefit of the soul. So when a person is in a conditioned nature, both instructions have to be balanced. Okay. So and then becomes subjected to the temporary misery and happiness of the life. Temporary means this not be for whole life. Sometimes we think it is too difficult, but not be for long. The Lord is and trying to adjust and counteract this happiness which cannot be counteracted, we waste our whole life. The Lord is the constant companion of the living entity as Paramatma or the super soul, and therefore he can understand the desires of the individual soul. As one can smell the flavor of a flower by being near it. So we have discussed that point in the commentary. Sannidhi. The Lord is very close to the living entity. Desire is a subtle form of conditioning for the living entity. What does it mean? Means as conditioned souls, we are conditioned to desire for sense gratification. There is nothing else for us. The Lord fulfills his desire as he deserves. Means ऐसा नहीं कि आप जो इच्छा करेंगे तो पूर्ण हो जाएगा. If we have done some karma by which we deserve that this desire is fulfilled, then only we. Sometimes, okay, I give an example. A real life example, I would not name it. If you have a very strong body as a man, and if you have a good salary, is there any difficulty in getting yourself married? Should not be, is it not? No problem. But I know a person, body acha hai, first class, healthy body and good salary. So now don't post comments right now. I'll have to block the comments now. Let me just speak what I'm trying to speak. Your comments are not in context of what you're speaking. So, kya baat karne lagta hai? So yeah, it's very easy, is it not? But I know a person who has very strong and a lot of wealth and everything. He got married and the wife is now leaving him and divorce and this and that. Now explain. See, as per your arrangement, you think the life will be very good. So you see how karma acts. And even इनके कर्म में ऐसा लिखा था that he has to suffer through that whole experience. So he's suffering. कुछ समझ रहे हैं? Simply his desiring that I will have a very good wife is not sufficient. The karma also has to be like that. And then suppose your wife is very good. Who knows if the kids are good? For all those things, a person is dependent on the Lord, and the Lord will see whether his karma allows, whatever his karma has done, allows this desire to be fulfilled. You know, example of Bhagavatam, and what is that? Chitraketu Maharaj married how many? 1 billion? 1 crore times, 1 billion, is it not? 1 billion wives and had no son. So we must remember that we are, for all things, even material life, we are fully dependent on the Supreme Lord. Man proposes and God disposes. The individual is not therefore omnipotent in fulfilling his desires. And when I heard that case, the wife locked the husband for 2 days in the room which does not have a bathroom also. Wow. I said he was a bodybuilder, he could have broken the door also, no? What a misery, amazing. Is it not suffering? Super misery. And when we hear such cases, I feel overjoyed. Krishna, please save me all my life. Even if I have to clean the bathrooms, public bathroom also, just save me. This is too much, is it not? Such a suffering. And this is one lifetime, and who knows how many lifetimes you suffered such like that. But some people don't give the ideas. No problem. Go ahead. Maybe it works out for you. Being neutral to everyone does not interfere. This is the simple si baat hai. The Lord does not interfere, then who am I to interfere? That is my point. The Lord, however, can fulfill all desires, and the Lord, being neutral to everyone, does not interfere with the desires of the minute, independent living entities. So, this is a good lesson for me. You just keep on counseling, you keep on telling, and let people choose whatever they have to. The Lord will tell and arrange for them. However, when one desires Krishna, the Lord takes special care and encourages one to desire in such a way that one can attain to Him and be eternally happy. And that's why we should hear Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. I will tell you from my own life, whatever services I have got, most of the cases I had no knowledge how to execute those projects. No training here in ISKCON Vrindavan. How you paint the temple. You paint the temple. This is the training. Paint the temple. And you cannot, right now we have 3 or 4 colors. At that time were 30 to 40 colors. All over the place, everywhere. You don't remember that. You've seen orange here and this. So all the time when I was chanting jap, I was looking around, this pillar, that color. I said, time aa raha hai, kaise karenge? How will we do? At one day, when senior Russian Mataji came, this color there, she was an artist, this color there, 1, 2, 3, 4, finish. And we painted the whole temple over. This gives me so much faith. Whatever service you desire, I mean, I have seen in my life, particularly. And then we want to do electrical renovation of the temple. Just I have no idea about electrical renovation. Just when we are supposed to start, Partha Majumdar, who comes from Bombay, can I help you? So this is 100% sure. I am convinced about it. You want to do some service? Even in your college, I wanted to preach. I was invited one time to preach. I think he was there. Adbhut Krishna was there at that time. You remember the class I gave in gym? I don't know if you remember. You were there. So at that time, they had a program in gym. So I was thinking, this college is nice. We can preach there. Then the preacher left. The preacher left ISKCON Vrindavan. I went to Pune. I said, would you like to preach in the college? I said, wow, that's good, is it not? But not good that he went off. I'm just saying. So if you have a desire to serve Krishna, there is no way that it can be stopped. If your desire is sincere, even insincere, just some desire to serve Krishna, Krishna appreciates that and encourages. I am again telling you the same thing. It's happening with me that I wanted to understand the Sanskrit commentaries, and I asked to Mukunda Dutt Prabhu, Prabhupada disciple, I said, no, simply by having English commentaries you can't understand. You have to learn the Sanskrit and the grammar. And I was kind of discouraged. And he was not saying wrong. I said, Abhi kya aega? And I was praying to our father and Tauji, Krishna Balaram. Krishna, everything arranges. I can understand now. And everything. I wanted Sridhari commentary should be translated by some Vaishnava. Then I can refer to it. Got translated. I got a sponsor for it also. So what I'm trying to say that in my life, I'm not glorifying myself. I'm just telling you my experience. Nothing I desired in regards to Krishna consciousness has ever been unfulfilled. So it happens with all the devotees. You will see that if you want to serve Krishna, all the obstacles will be removed. Rahul Prabhu also had a trouble. There's a job and everything. Is it not? You could not practice and suddenly you get a job and associate of devotees. Now he's in Vrindavan. At least for whole life. No? See, when it will happen with you, you will know. Revati Mataji wanted association of devotees. Now she has too much of association. Is there some association of devotees in Noida and this and that? We don't leave. Now she is arranging association. Mangal Arti, this and that, and this is not. So, like that. So, this, एक बात समझिए. When we wanted to turn away from Krishna, Krishna इतना बबाल खड़ा कर दिया कि नहीं. Krishna made the whole material world just so that we can forget him. So if you want to remember Krishna, then how much you will facilitate. So you keep on aspiring. अरे वो taste नहीं मिल रहा है. Haridas Thakur was tasting the holy name so much. I am not tasting. Shukdev Goswami and Parishad Maharaj was tasting Bhagavatam so much. I am not tasting. This kind of desire and lollium must be there, which comes by hearing Bhagavatam. Chaitanya Charitamrita. Then Lord noticing, अच्छा, he like that. He wants love for me like this. Okay. He will surely give you that love. Tatra lollium ekam mulam alam, something like that. That's why we should hear. When you hear about Sridhar, what is it? Kola Becha Sridhar, you don't feel like, even if I have to sell banana leaves, no problem, but if I can have the taste for chanting Hare Krishna, what amazing thing, is it not? So I'm just trying to inspire you in that way. Keep on desiring, keep on chanting, and you'll see Krishna will fulfill that desire. Shashikant Prabhu wanted to do something farming regarding Krishna. He was made the farm in charge of 30 acres of land. Now he is struggling to cover the land. He has so much service. Now Krishna has so much things to do. It's okay, 30 acres of land, you take in Vrindavan, you reclaim the land and do all these things. Is it not Shashikant Prabhu? In Vrindavan, direct service, Dham Seva. So I'm just saying, keep on desiring and you see by inconceivable arrangement of the Lord will arrange everything. And I want to take your time and tell you this. I told my uncle, I had a 2 lakh rupees loan on me. I said, I want to join ISKCON. What about this loan? He said, go. Who will waive off 2 lakh rupees loan? Like on this saying, please go. I was really crying to join ashram. So I'm just saying, whenever you have such a strong desire to serve Krishna, I cannot believe that he will not facilitate. I cannot, because it never happened to me that he did not facilitate. Maybe it takes some time, but definitely facilitates. Definitely. और आप ये भी नहीं कह सकते कि वृंदावन धाम में ही होता है. At that time I was not in Vrindavan Dham. I was in Kahalgaon. That is not Vrindavan Dham. Vrindavan Dham obviously facilitates all your desires, but I'm just saying that if you desire to serve Krishna, Krishna will facilitate. So now we should desire. Yadi dasyassi me kaman varantam varadarshapha kamanam hridya sanroham bhavatastu vilevaram. My Lord, just remove even a sprout of material desire from his heart. Sincerely desire. Anyhow, I just got carried away with this thing. But Krishna takes special care of a person who wants to serve him. The Vedic hymns therefore declare, Esha uhi eva sadhu karma karayati tam yam epyo lokebhya unni nishate. Esha u eva sadhu karma karayati yam adho nishate. We have discussed this. The Lord engages the living entity in pious activities so that he may be elevated. The Lord engages him in impious activities so that he may go to hell. Kaustubhi Upanishad. Have you never wondered when you wake up early in the morning, you don't think about watching a movie? You never wondered? I think none of the devotees, when they wake up in the morning, they never think about that. Kitna amazing, you know? You think about going to Krishna or see have darshan Mangal Arati like that. One devotee like Radhini Mataji is very much interested in Bhagavatam. Cash in on that, Mataji. Cash in, you understand? You have a likeness for Bhagavatam. Cash in. Cash in समझते हैं?
Yes.
फसल काटिए फसल. You absorb yourself in Bhagavatam. Tell your parents, I am mentally retarded. I can't do anything else. Like, no, only I have this intelligence by which I can understand Bhagavatam 8 hours. Go ahead and tell the parents. Suppose I was mentally retarded, what you would have expected? Nothing. You have simply maintained me, given me food. Give me food 2 times and give in my room, and I'll chant Bhagavatam. I cannot do. Sorry, read Bhagavatam. Read Bhagavatam. One more thing I want to say in this regard, like His Holiness Radha Govind Maharaj, when since his birth he was attracted to Bhagavatam. How that happens? There's one, I don't remember the name, but there was a sadhu whose autobiography was given. From his birth, he has attraction for the holy name. How that is happening? Somewhere in the previous birth. So now, if we have attraction for Bhagavatam and holy name, some attraction, cash in on it. समझ गए cash in? How to harvest. Get into it. It is the most rare thing we have got, a desire to serve Krishna. So, then Lord will inspire us further. Agyo jantura nisho yam atmanaha sukha dukkhayo ishvara prerito gachet swargam vashu abram evacha. The living entity is completely dependent in his distress and happiness. By the will of the Supreme, he can go to heaven or hell as a cloud is driven by the air. So the Lord will inspire us for our previous activities. Somehow now we have got the clue to get out of this world. Act on it. Therefore, the embodied soul, by his immemorial desire to avoid Krishna consciousness. You understand? Avoid Krishna, avoid Hari Katha, avoid Hari Nam. And certain portion of our heart does have that inclination to not go for Hari Katha, to not chant Hari Nam, which has become reduced from previously, but it is there, and that has to be removed simply by the engaging again and again. Causes his own bewilderment. This is understood because of avidya. Avidya means distaste for Krishna consciousness. The effect of avidya. So be very happy we have some taste for Krishna Katha. Not like Shukdev Goswami, not like Parishit Maharaj, but we have something. So that keeps on increasing. That is a gift, that is the supreme gift of the Lord. That inclination to discuss Krishna Katha. I'll again repeat this point. 99% of our advancement happens by hearing and chanting. So let us put 100% effort in this. 99%. Japa, chanting, reading, discussing Bhagavad Gita like that. These are not my words, I think you know. Consequently, although he is constitutionally eternal, blissful and cognizant, due to the littleness of his existence, he forgets his constitutional position of service to the Lord and is thus entrapped by nations. तो समझ रहे? जीव भूली गेला क्या है? कृष्ण भूलिया जीव अनादिर बहिर्मुख अते माया दे संसार दुख. So it is he's turned away from Krishna. So remembering this point, again it brings to the point, how should we chant Hare Krishna? I am not this body. First, I am eternal servant of Krishna, very small particle of the Lord, and having turned away from the Lord, now I am in this situation. So the only way by which my situation can be rectified is by the process of chanting Hare Krishna mantra, by the process of bhakti. So with this mood, one should actually approach the process of bhakti. Somebody in Trinadavi Sunichena, the commentary on Trinadavi Sunichena, Srila Bhakti Thakur explains this point. I am not this body, I am a conscious living entity, part and parcel of Krishna, and there is no other way except bhakti to remove this distaste for serving Krishna, this avidya. I don't know my words make sense to you, but hopefully you understand. जप के अलावा कोई तरीका नहीं है मेरी अविद्या की निवृत्ति करने का, ये कहने का आशय. And under the spell of ignorance, the living entity claims that the Lord is responsible for his conditional existence. This we have discussed. The Lord is not responsible, we ourselves are responsible. The Vedanta Sutras also confirm this. Vaishamya Nirgirne na sapikshatvat tathahi darshayati. The Lord neither hates nor likes anyone, though he appears to be. This we have discussed in Bhagavatam also. This must be clear. We are responsible for our own actions. So today I would like to ask questions, but before that I will see if there are some questions. When the Pradhan is unmanifested material energy, what does this mean? We have discussed this. Is Pradhan having anything in facilitation of the desires? No, Pradhan is unmanifested state of material energy with balanced modes of material nature. But as per the commentary here, it also has a subtle bodies in subtle form of the living entities where the desires or impressions are lodged. We give the example of baggage being collected. They are in a store, like in an airport, and then when you reach, then again you collect the baggage and carry forward. This is happening during pralaya or every time at death? No, it happens when Brahmaji dies, and then there is creation of new universe, full universe is created. Then from Pradhan everything is manifested. The whole universe is not unmanifested into Pradhan at the day of Brahmaji. It only happens at the death of Brahmaji. Yeah. Lord acts in relation to living entities without thoughts of disturbing. Kindly could you explain once more? The idea is that the Lord is not interfering with the free will of the living entity wherever he wants. Just like the example of judge. The judge is neutral and he awards as per their actions. He is neutral to what they have done or not done. He does not even advise what you are supposed to do. He just gives judgment. Can we apply meaning of Vibhu as Kartum Akartum in the context of Bhagavad Gita 5.15? Well, Vibhu here means Sarva Samartha, fully omniscient, fully, yeah. But, well, good. See, Vibhu means Sarva Samartha, who can do anything. The task which the Lord is doing in Bhagavad Gita 5.15 is actually impossible. To remember everyone's desires, everyone's karma, giving them body, very complicated. If we don't even know what we desired at the age of 5, we ourselves don't remember. And the Lord remembers that everything what we have desired. I think this should give hope to every devotee. I think hardly anyone is born in a devotee family. No idea about Krishna consciousness, and somehow the Lord is bringing us to Krishna consciousness. So that should inspire us to persevere with bhakti. Karte raho bhakti, because Krishna is going to reward us with more and more opportunities. Once Prabhupada told every woman should be married and every man should be brahmachari. So you remain brahmachari, Prem Krishna Prabhu. Okay. Krishna Abhishek Prabhu is laughing loud. I don't know why. Atul Krishna Prabhu was telling that he wants to bring back the conditioned soul back to Goloka, that means the Lord, as he wants to feel infinite bliss, as the devotees can understand and reciprocate transcendental pleasure with Krishna. Yes, but in today's shloka it is said that Krishna is all blissful in himself. How can we understand this? So we have understood this point. The Lord is fully satisfied with himself, but still he likes to be dependent on his devotees. Both qualities are there. Atma Ramaya Shantaya, we have discussed that. Akinchana Vittaya Namo Akinchana Vittaya Nivritta Guna Vittaye Atma Ramaya Shantaya Keval Lepate Namaha. So you please refer to shloka. Both qualities are there. Lord inspires us to do sin or pious activity as per our previous impressions. It's our free will whether we want to act on them or not. Right understanding? He does not inspire, you cannot say he inspires us to do sin. No. If you say he inspires us to do sin, no. The impressions are there, because if you say if he inspires us to do sin, that means he is responsible for that sin. No. We have impressions in our heart, and the Lord is simply, in a sense, what you can say, is sanctioning, yes. We are conscious of those impressions and the Lord just sanctions. You want this? Okay, fine. We cannot say Lord is inspiring us in that sense to do sin. If कैसे बोला जाए, शब्दों में कैसे रखा जाए इसको?
Like you want to do something.
I want to do something is my desire. That's free will, that small independence I have, is it not? So then the Lord says, okay, you want that? Go ahead. That's what we said. Now we desire material things. Then the Lord makes a note of it, and then so he's only closely observing it, and then noticing the desire of the living entity, he gives facilitation to fulfill that desire. The Lord is just enacting on our impressions, something to that effect. Because this again the question was asked previously, who makes us sin? So then it was that the Kam Esha Krodha Esha Rajoguna Samudbhava. Ultimately, everything is done by the Lord only, that you can say, but Lord intentionally will not want anyone to do sin. Hai ki nahi? Sometimes Lord does give prerana to do something. Yes, Matta Smritir Jnanam Apohanam Cha. He inspires actions, and we also pray to the Lord, you please inspire me. Yes, I will say that He inspires us, but based on our actions and our karma. He inspires us, no doubt. If you are chanting Hare Krishna, He inspires you to chant Hare Krishna. He inspires you to read Bhagavatam. That is Lord's inspiration only. But He doesn't inspire you or in the sense of encouraging you. Hey, तूने murder नहीं किया, just do murder. In the sense, Lord has nothing to gain by inspiring someone to do something. In that way, I would like to explain. We inspire someone, so we also have something in that, is it not? The Lord, we have very clearly read, He is Vibhu, He is fully sufficient. So He doesn't gain anything by inspiring somebody to do something. Is that clear? First point. Now, we can say definitely the living entity is reminded.
Yes,
Reminded. You desired like this. Again, the remembrance is given by the Lord. You may call it as inspiration or whatever.
Krishna will remind you, He will create an opportunity.
He will create opportunity. He will create a situation, association. In this life, you never had a bad association, and you reflect upon it. You were a good boy, an innocent boy, and suddenly you get a bad association. How? This is because of our previous actions and desires. And then we got good association. How? Because of the previous something we did. We don't know what, but something we did. Why everybody is not getting association? And even if after a person gets association, why everybody is not responding to the association in the same way? Are we not seeing that? People are dropping out from devotional service also. So we definitely, the Lord inspires His devotees. Definitely, there is no doubt about it. There's so many words. Some mantra is called Prachodayat, which means Lord may inspire us towards Him. So there is no doubt about it. The Lord is Kala Choditaha, Kala Preritaha. The Kala is Krishna's energy. So there is no doubt about it. But Lord has nothing to gain by giving that inspiration. So you cannot say that Lord will, in order to fulfill His need, that He is inspiring someone. Is that matter getting a little bit clear? A devotee was saying that he inspires us that by that my living entities you wanted this. So again, not inspiration, you can call it inspiration, but actually it is remembrance. You wanted this, now you have the facility, you go ahead. So something of that sort. If inspiration is the word, you understand that okay, He inspires. Inspiration is really what you get in Bhakti. Krishna really inspires us in Bhakti. Really, if that is the word, because Krishna is happy when we do Bhakti. Okay? Should I ask you questions or should I leave you today? Oh, you have a question. Okay, I have to repeat your question. Please tell. Ostrich and dolphin, yes. So what is more prominent? The living entity is desiring, or is it as per his karma? You see, because of his desire to sense, desire to enjoy, all the action and reaction of karmas begin. Now that desire is beginningless since when we desire. Now when we act based on a material desire, that action itself will give rise to an impression. And then further impression and further actions. It's like a vicious cycle from which the living entity will never come out. But really I feel very pathetic when I see the devotees working. It's not against one devotee, definitely I know one devotee, but doing night shift, working 14, 15 hours for job. I mean, that is not what human life is meant for. you will regret it so much at the end of his life. This is not human life is meant for. But Krishna is inspiring you. You are not to be blamed. He is not to be blamed. Anyways, what you can do? He makes us cognitive of our desires. Yeah, that's a very good word. He makes us aware of our desires, and we can give up those desires. Okay, we waste a lot of time today, so we cannot take up some questions today. We'll stop here. I will like to do Parayan